I should be live now. How is everyone? I hope y'all are doing well. I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. Bear with me, and I will start playing. So we are playing some MX versus ATV All Out today, which I think is pretty cool because I thoroughly enjoy this game. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's go to single event, actually, and then let's go to national, and then probably do Dove Point. 25 laps seems fun, if you ask me. So it is currently 1:04 p.m. on March 29th, 2021. Central Standard Time. How's everyone doing? Hope you're doing well. Sorry. Let me pause it one more time. Yeah, as you can see, I'll be playing some MX versus ATV All Out. Should be. Let me make sure my mic is on. Yes, it is. That's good. Would have been bad if it wasn't, but that's okay. And we're playing some MX versus ATV All Out. Pretty good racing game, if you ask me. It's always fun to do races. I myself, I try and go for achievements in a video game whenever I'm playing on the Xbox 360, Xbox One, or Xbox Series S. But if I feel like I can get all the achievements that I've gotten, and I enjoy the game, I'll still play it. Because I enjoy the game. Sorry for starting a couple minutes late. I woke up a little late and had to have a shower and then stream. Currently in 15th place. That means only one person is behind us, which isn't good. Considering I want to be first. I think it's harder to win races in MX versus ATV All Out than MX versus ATV Untamed. That's just my opinion, though. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy the challenges, but I also enjoy winning as well. In video games, especially. Lap number 2. This is going to be a long race, actually. I guess it's close to an hour. Since we're doing so many laps, and it takes about 1.5 to 2 minutes to do each lap, we're probably going to be close to an hour. Especially with the amount of times I crash. Which I'm shocked that I didn't crash, because usually when I say something like that, I usually crash. 'Cause usually when I say something like that, I usually crash. 'Cause usually when I say something like that, I usually crash. 'Cause usually when I say something like that, I usually crash. 'Cause usually when I say something like that, I usually crash. 'Cause usually when I say something like that, I usually crash. 'Cause usually when I say something like that, I usually crash. 'Cause usually when I say something like that, I usually crash. 'Cause usually when I say something like that, I usually crash. 'Cause usually when I say something like that, I usually crash. 'Cause usually when I say something like that, I usually crash. 'Cause usually when I say something like that, I usually crash. 'Cause usually when I say something like that, I usually crash. 'Cause usually when I say something like that, I usually crash. 'Cause usually when I say something like that, I usually crash. 'Cause usually when I say something like that, I usually crash. ' know how long I'll be streaming today. Just gotta go for a walk, hopefully, and then that's it. No errands to run today. Should be running errands all morning tomorrow, so. It's fun, but I don't enjoy getting up early. I just gotta fill out some uh, master's applications I've started. Okay, we're in 10th place now. We're in 11th place. So. I recently watched a movie called Circle. It's very interesting. It's about like a group of people uh, trapped on an alien spaceship. And they're essentially voting on who dies next. So. Pretty much covers the moral and ethical morality and ethics surrounding life and death in that situation in that movie. So it's interesting. You should definitely, anyone watching this, if you haven't seen the movie Circle, you should definitely check it out. Eighth place now. 7. I can't afford to mess up right now because it's so easily to lose. It's so easy to lose position because everyone's really close to each other in this race. We managed to get up to 3rd place, which is pretty impressive. Kinda. We were all close to each other, so not really that impressive. I wonder what games are coming to Game Pass in April. Xbox Game Pass. As well as games with gold. Xbox usually reveals that on their YouTube channels around this time. Like for the following month, they usually release towards the end of the month before. We're just like 3 seconds, a little over 3 seconds behind first. I actually watched the movie Circle with my family, so. Unfortunately, due to the pandemic, it's kind of hard to find a job, so I decided, you know what, let me at least try and get my master's degree. It should take about 2 years to get my master's degree. Yes, we're finally first. Took us 4 laps, but we got there. And it should definitely take us over 50 minutes to do this race. All 25 laps. 'Cause it's going to take us... It looks like it's going to take us over 2 minutes to do a single lap. Just because this map is so long. Fortunately, we got back on track there. Pretty much played this game early in the morning yesterday, like about 1 or 2 in the morning yesterday. So I streamed it as well on my channel. Dang it, I messed up. Lost first place. At least it's relatively easy to get back into first. First place isn't that far ahead of us. He's gonna get farther away from us though if I keep messing up like that. I wonder how far away third place is behind us. Since 1 second. That may be third place, but it may not be. That was just under 2.5 minutes. Not only do I need to get into first, I need to make sure I don't mess up and make sure the lap time goes down as well. I love how we went from like dead last, in the 15th place, to first place. No, that's good. Ah, dang it. We were 1 second ahead, so like, one mess up like that definitely cost us first and second. Although we're in second now. Alright, we're back in first. Listen. No, we're now over a second. Now we're on to roughly a second ahead of first. Never mind. We're behind first. This is definitely a battle for first, second, and third. Fourth is roughly 5 seconds behind us, so. Maybe a lot closer now due to me messing up right there. Dang, how far back is 16th place? They're 40 seconds behind first. Okay, the best way to get up first is to stop going off track right now. Although I managed to cut down my first place lead ahead of me from like 5 minutes to roughly 5 seconds to 4 seconds, so somewhere around there. Dang it. Here's what I need to get further behind first and second than I already am. And I lost third. Let me focus on getting back to third place now. I just have to focus on getting the second, and then I can focus on getting the first. I don't know what to talk about. I'm trying to think of something to talk about. I'm thinking of applying to master's programs mainly here in Arkansas. Went first, that's good. Maybe start doing some tricks when I get a nice comfortable lead. As of right now, I don't. As of right now, I don't want to. I don't think that's a. It's not. Well, it's not that I don't want to. I don't think it's a good idea. We improved our lap time to like 2 minutes and 9.68 seconds. And I saw my best lap time was like 2 minutes 9 point something seconds. I don't know if this is actually faster or slower than my best lap time for this track entering this race. That is something we'll find out after when the race is over. A good movie that I recently saw in the past month or two is actually The Untouchables. It's a French movie, so I don't speak French. I have to watch with English subtitles on Netflix. So that's a pretty good movie. It's like a dramedy. It's like this guy who used to be in prison actually applies for jobs. Um, he's like not in. He's not really interested in getting jobs. Um, he actually gets hired to take care of this rich paralyzed man. So, and eventually he becomes good at the job. He enjoys it and he likes hanging out with the rich man. It's actually based off of a true story as well. So, it's called The Untouchables. You should. That's actually one of my favorite movies. So, well, I won't say it's one of my favorite, but it's a decent movie actually. Definitely check it out. Yeah, I'd say it's one of my favorites. There's some good sports movies I like Invincible. There are actually two sports movies called Invincible. The one I like that I find more interesting is, well, actually I find both of them interesting. One is about a Jewish weightlifter during living in Europe during World War II and like Nazi occupied, either in Nazi Germany or not Nazi occupied territory. Both are interesting. The other one is about Vince Papali, who is like an American football player who signed with the Philadelphia Eagles in his, I want to say, mid-30s, and he's like the oldest NFL rookie, among the oldest NFL rookies, without like college football experience. So, and this facing the Giants, that's probably my favorite sports movie. I've also seen The Rookie, which is based. The Rookie is also based off of a true story. It's about this pitcher, uh, who this Major League Baseball pitcher. He becomes. He's originally a science teacher, both in real life and in the movie. And he's a baseball coach. And if he made this promise with his team that if they win, like, I don't know if it's like division or state championship in high school, he would try out for the major leagues. And they won. that season. So actually tried out, and he eventually made it to the uh, he eventually played for the Tampa Bay Rays. It's based off of Jim Morris' story. Another interesting movie is Glory Road, which is also based off of a true story. It's based off of the now University of Texas at El Paso, 1965-1966 basketball team, and how they became the first team in NCAA Division I history to start five African American basketball players in a national championship game, and they beat this all-white Kentucky team. But in the movie, and when it actually took place, they were known as Texas Western College. Oh, look at that, we successfully pulled off a flip. Probably the best area, the best jump to pull off a trick. Hopefully I don't crash or go off-road this map. This lap, not map. I've already done it this map, but not this lap, to my knowledge. I've yet to see the movie Miracle on Ice. It's a movie I want to see, and I also want to see Invictus, which is, uh, both movies are based on a true story. So like, Miracle on Ice is like, uh, uh over the USA is upsetting the Soviet Union in ice hockey. And I believe it was the Olympics. And Invictus is about like one of the, I believe it's the 1995 Rugby World Cup in South Africa. So, and I was one of the, it's like the first post-apartheid World Cup. It was the first Rugby World Cup in post-apartheid South Africa. So we've been on for over half an hour now. That's pretty cool if you ask me. I think it's much easier to do front flips in an MX bike than it is in an ATV. Actually, this dirt biking Disney Channel original movie that I vaguely remember that it came out in the early 2000s. I can't remember the name of it. Something like motocross or something. Oh dang, I'm going slower than I need to be. Let's say we're roughly halfway done with this race. Well, maybe last lap actually. Halfway through last lap. It's pretty much impossible to divide an impossible, or it's pretty much impossible to divide a odd number evenly with by like 2, 4, 6, 8, or 0. Not 0, but you know what I mean. Another backflip done. Another time I went off track, unfortunately. That's okay. And now I really need to stop. I don't think I would have beaten the 2 minutes 9.68 best lap time, but I would have gotten close. Closer than I would have now. $13 done, 12 more to go. I don't know how far back 16th is. There isn't 17th place. Pretty far back actually now. They only showed the top 7. And when that disappears, you won't see when 8th through 16th will show up. I need to get some water out of my mini fridge. Soon. Sooner rather than later. Okay, I need to stop messing up now. I am just letting second place get closer and closer each time I mess up. That is something I can't afford if I'm trying to win a race. Faster than everyone. So far, so good. Okay, we're slowing down. That's bad. That's bad. Less than a second ahead of second. You can't be less than a second ahead of first especially if you're in first. That's just impossible. Alright, after this lap, we should have roughly 10 more to go. Alright. We got our lead back up to 8 seconds. That's good. 9 now. Dang it, fell down to the 7. So far, we've been racing for 35 minutes, 35 minutes and 35.66 seconds. Not including the time we added on for this lap. Third place is roughly 16 seconds behind us. Fourth and fifth are really duking it out. A real battle between those two. I really need to increase the distance between me and second. I think I did a little. Now I'm not. And now I'm just letting him get closer, which isn't good. So now baseball season is going to be starting in 3 days, which I'm really excited for. Baseball is my favorite sport to watch, actually. Hoping the Cubs, Angels, and Red Sox will win. The World Series. And if none of those teams win, I am hoping that a team that hasn't won the World Series before will win their first ever World Series. So I know the Seattle Mariners are the only team in Major League Baseball not to even play in the World Series. So if the Cubs, Angels, or if the Red Sox and Angels don't make it to the World Series, I'm hoping that at least Seattle will make it to their first World Series. And if the Cubs don't win the World Series this year out of the NL, I'm hoping, and the Angels and Red Sox don't make it out of the AL, I'm hoping that'll be a matchup between two teams that haven't won the World Series before. Which I don't think has happened for quite a long time. And it is still possible for two teams to face each other for their first World Series. So, like, you'd have to have, in the AL, it's the teams that haven't won the World Series are the Tampa Bay Rays, the Texas Rangers, and the Seattle Mariners. Those are the ones I can think of off the top of my head. I'm trying to think of who else hasn't won in the AL. I know in the NL, you haven't had the Rockies and Padres win a World Series. Just trying to think. So in the NL West, you have LA, San Diego, San Francisco, in Arizona. So in the NL West, you have Texas, Oakland, LA, and Seattle, and Houston. So that means both the Padres, the Rockies, and the Mariners out of the West divisions, and both the NL and AL haven't won. In the Central, I know you'd have Cleveland, Chicago, uh, St. Louis, Atlanta. I don't know if Atlanta. No. No, you have Cleveland, in the NL, you have Cleveland, not Cleveland. You'd have Cincinnati. In the NL, you'd have Cincinnati, St. Louis, and Chicago. And on the AL, you have Detroit, Kansas City, and Chicago. I'm struggling to think who else is in the Central, because I believe the Atlanta Braves are in the not the NFL, sorry for saying that offensive team name. I do apologize. The Atlanta baseball team are. It's by accident, I do apologize. The Atlanta baseball team is in the NL East. Then you have Washington, Florida, I believe New York as well. And then Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. So one of those teams is in the Central. In the AL East, you have Boston, Tampa Bay, New York, Baltimore, and Toronto. Now, I will be right back, y'all. Bear with me really quick. Yeah, so I'm back, sorry. Yeah. Lap 19. You know, I'm pretty sure about the Stanley Cup playoffs that the Vancouver Canucks and I think Ottawa Senators haven't won the Stanley Cup before. I know for sure Minnesota and Nashville and Vegas hasn't won. And the expansion team starting to play next season, Seattle for sure hasn't won. They'll be unable to win it until next season. Don't know what other teams. I don't know if Arizona has won the Stanley Cup or not. The Arizona Coyotes. Now in the NBA, So the NBA, the Charlotte Hornets, Orlando Magic, um, and Charlotte, Orlando, Denver, Utah, Phoenix haven't won an NBA Finals. I'm trying to think of what other teams. Memphis hasn't won. Oh, that's gonna be result in me messing up. But I don't have enough speed to get off that jump. So what else? I think that's it. New Orleans hasn't won as well the NBA Finals. I'm trying to think of it. The Clippers haven't won as well, actually. I know Oklahoma City has won it, but they were known as the Seattle Supersonics when they won. They haven't won it since they relocated to Oklahoma City. In terms of Super Bowls, I know the Cardinals have not won, but the Cardinals have won an NFL championship before the creation of the Super Bowl. Detroit has never won a Super Bowl. I'm unsure if they've won an NFL championship before the creation of the Super Bowl. Buffalo has never won, for sure, a Super Bowl. Tennessee's never won. I'm trying to think of who else plays. Houston has never won. Same with Jacksonville. The Chargers have never won as well. They've played in 2 Super Bowls, so 1 or 2. Cincinnati's never won as well. Cleveland's never won a Super Bowl, but I'm pretty sure they've won an NFL championship before the creation of the Super Bowl. Let's see what else. So the Las Vegas Raiders have won a Super Bowl, but they won it when they were in, I believe, they won some when they were in Oakland, not when they're based in Las Vegas. I believe that's all the teams off the top of my head that haven't won a Super Bowl championship. We're nearly done with this race, wow. Now there's several MLS teams that haven't won an MLS Open Cup. The MLS Cup, I should say. I'm going to follow the Columbus Crew from now on for Major League Soccer. They're my new favorite team. They're the defending champions, though, so. I wanted to choose a new favorite team for a while, so I just chose Columbus. I think they won their first championship this past season. I know I believe Major League Soccer starting on April 17th. Their regular season. Well, it's gonna try to follow Juventus and Serie A and watch their games. I've been watching VfL Wolfsburg play in the Bundesliga, and I've been watching the Ajax Amsterdam play in the Eredivisie. Over 50 minutes so far for this race. And we have 3 laps left, including the one we're on now. Actually, 3 after this. 4 if you include this lap. So the 22nd, 23rd, 24th, and 25th. So it should take us a little over an hour, because each lap is taking us about 2 hours. It ranges from, not 2 hours, but 2 minutes and 9 seconds to about 2.5 minutes. Should be over an hour for this race. But hey, at least we're following first, and we've kept this lead for a while now. I love racing games. I'm a huge fan of the Forza Motorsport series, but I also love the MX vs. ATV series. You know, I like the Mario Kart series, but I haven't played that in a while. I like the Sonic and Sega racing games. I only have one of those now. I actually like the NASCAR racing game. I like the NASCAR racing games as well. And I thought I'd hate the Formula One games, but they've grown on me. The Formula One racing games as well. Same with Isle of the Man Racing on the Edge. That series has grown on me as well. So we're about to lap this person. Hopefully. Also, the World Rally Championship games are pretty good. And I will be getting some water after this race. So I need a drink. And I'm thirsty and my mouth is starting to get dry. Maybe I'm not about to lap that guy. I'm close though. So I know 16th place is almost 1 lap behind us. So I have to worry about that racer. You know, this is an old PS2 game I have called Corvette. That's another. I played it on my channel. That's another good racing game I like. Yeah, I do apologize for saying that offensive baseball team name. I think we lapped them. That's cool. Okay, and then he passed us. Hmm. Let's see. I've been watching the Philadelphia 76ers play their recent games because uh, I know someone. I went to well, I say I know someone. I mean, I met the person. I don't know him very well. I haven't talked to him actually since college. So, since that class ended. Uh, but I was in class with someone on the Philadelphia 76ers team. That is Ray John Tucker. I've mentioned him numerous times on my stream. So yeah, I mainly follow the 76ers now. And we're on our next to last lap. We're almost done with this lap, so obviously we have one more lap after this race. We're on our last lap now. If it will actually be under an hour. Shocker. It's a little shocking actually. I thought it would. At first, I didn't think it would take an hour. Then, closer to the end of this race, I thought it would. Now, now I'm sure it won't take over an hour. I have to mess up pretty badly for this lap to be 3 minutes, or just under 3 minutes. I've been streaming for I've been streaming for over an hour now. That's pretty cool if you ask me. Let's see. Still don't know what to talk about. Yeah, definitely check out. I've had Nightbot link my website now. Just about every stream. I've been doing every stream I've been doing since. I'm gonna get a drink really quick. Hold on, bear with me. Since I've came up with that command, Nightbot. Got some of Kroger's purified water. And I got some Coke Zero as well. At 16th place, finished a good 3 minutes, almost 4 minutes behind us. So. Actually, out of curiosity, no. Wow, our best time is 2 hours 9 minutes and 2 hours, or not 2 hours. 2 minutes and 9.52 seconds. So we nearly beat our personal best. We were off by a little over 10.5 seconds. We need to have gone a little roughly 10.5 seconds actually. So let's do open cross. We can do my favorite map, Bucking Horse Trail, but we're gonna do it for about a 14 lap race, and it's actually gonna be an MX. I'll be back really quick. Hold on. Alright, I'm back. So let's go ahead and get started. We started off a little late, but that's okay. Should have paused. Should have paused. No whole shot, so that's a one. That's okay. Let's see. Still don't know what to talk about. Oh wow. We quickly took the lead here for this race. I pretty much tend to do that every time I play this track. Not that that's a bad thing, but come on. I mean, it'll change the difficulty on this map. to get a little more competition, make it a little more of a challenge. I'll be right back one last time. Hold on. My mic is muted and I was talking this entire time. Not this entire time, but since I came back. But that's okay. Because my mic is on now. We're already almost half a minute ahead of uh, our opponents, at least. And now we are half a minute. And now we're not. Let's see. No FIFA World Cup qualifying has been going on. I should watch the Netherlands play on Saturday. There are 4 teams I'm definitely rooting for, or 6 teams actually. Rooting. I'm rooting for England. Then 7 teams actually. I'm rooting for England, Portugal, France, the Netherlands, Spain, the U.S. or Trinidad and Tobago to win the World Cup. Now, it's pretty unrealistic for Trinidad to win the World Cup. Trinidad and Tobago, no disrespect to the team, it's just they've only qualified. I say we, but I'm not a part of the team. They've only qualified for 1 World Cup, and that was back in 2006. The Netherlands, it's possible for the Netherlands to win their first World Cup, which I really want them to see. I really want to see them win a World Cup. Spain has won I've seen Spain win a World Cup back in 2010. It's possible for Portugal, but I mean, they haven't had any luck. At least the Netherlands has made it to the finals. Conveniently, they last made it in 2010. I'm hoping the English as well. But we've won back in 1966. And I say we, but again, I'm not a part of the team. I wasn't even alive in 1966. That was 29 years before I was born, if my math is correct. So. France won the. I believe France won the last World Cup. So honestly, I'm glad France won, but I was kind of rooting for Croatia to win the first World Cup that time because France has won it once during the 19. I want to say 1998, and Croatia hadn't, and I believe that was their first uh, World Cup finals as Croatia. I don't know who's technic. I don't know who, according to FIFA, is the success for who is the success, who is the legal successor to Yugoslavia. So, if none of the 6 teams I mentioned win, I'm hoping the team will win the first World Cup. One team I'm hoping that makes it their first ever World Cup, even if it is unlikely, would be Gibraltar. I've actually been to Gibraltar. I went on a bus tour when I went to Spain back in 2019. And yeah, so I'll be right back. So yeah, one thing I know about Gibraltar from visiting there is the airport is literally right next to their stadium. So so if you're flying to Gibraltar, you will actually and legitimately uh you will actually fly over the field where the Gibraltar national football team plays. And where they have like the top division matches as well. Gibraltar is the only place I've been that I know for sure I haven't that hasn't gone to view, where my YouTube videos haven't been viewed. So we're back on track. Yeah, we went on a bus tour from Malaga, Spain, to Gibraltar. Took a couple of hours to actually go on bus from Malaga to Gibraltar, but then we got off, went on or we had to take a bus. So then there was this tour. We took a tour on Gibraltar. That was pretty cool. We went on another tour bus. I think there was a tour bus in German. I want to say Italian, but I'm not sure. I know for sure German, English, and Spanish. And my family and I, we don't speak. Well, Actually, I don't speak Spanish or Italian. My dad is fluent in Dutch as well, and my mom and sister can actually speak Spanish a little bit. I can't. So, so yeah. So we all went on the English one. And also, I'm going to a game between Real Madrid and Osasuna when I went to Madrid. Because we spent a couple of hours in Gibraltar. We spent several days in Malaga, and we spent several days in Madrid back in 2019. And if you ever get a chance to go to Spain, definitely go. If you get a chance to go to Gibraltar, definitely go. The one thing I didn't, there's the only reason I didn't enjoy my trip to Spain is I got food poisoning. Literally the first or second night I was there. Um, I ate some bad Mexican food in Spain. So I don't know what was wrong, but it just gave me food poisoning. So I would have enjoyed the trip more if I hadn't gotten food poisoning. So I know the 2 years before I actually went to in 2017 I went to England, in the UK. Uh, went to London for literally only a couple of hours twice. Uh, that was when I was flying in to London, and then I went from drove 45 minutes in like a taxi to Oxford, and then I went from Oxford to London to fly back to America. So, but for the rest of the trip, we stayed in Oxford. So I enjoyed it. I actually went on the Oxford University campus because my sister was attending Oxford University. Went on a bus tour there as well. I saw some kind of forts that I believe if I remember correctly, William the Conqueror made in 1080 AD. So that was pretty cool. Literally the year before I visited Stockholm, Sweden for the first time. This is my first time ever visiting Sweden. And sadly I haven't been back since. But I really loved visiting Stockholm. I was there for like 3 or 4 days. So um I went to they actually have a museum for ABBA, which is like this very popular legendary music group from the 1970s. They won Eurovision sometime during the 70s, and they became an international success. But they eventually broke up, and then they recently, within the past couple of years, I believe they reformed the group again. So like ABBA, and I actually grew up listening to a cover band of some of their songs, but but the originals are amazing songs. Their original music. I'm not saying the cover songs are bad, because they aren't, but I did like the originals. The original, I like the songs when ABBA performed their own songs. Now, took a tour around Sweden, not Sweden, around Stockholm, a bus tour. What I like about these, it's made by the same company. I took a bus tour in Madrid, Sweden, or Stockholm, Sweden, New York City, and Oxford. It's by like the same company. They have it in different cities. So, they mainly drove around significantly historical places in the city. So, like when I was in New York City, I went to um, Central Park, drove past the UN, United Nations area, where the United Nations is held. When I was in Stockholm, the one place I remember was this place built in like the 1700s. And then, um, also that like passing the bank where the well-known case of Stockholm syndrome, like the first case of Stockholm syndrome. So. Madrid. I don't really remember from the bus tour, but I went on like a walking tour in Madrid. I think it was either Madrid or Malaga. I'm pretty sure it was Madrid, but we went past some historically significant places. I remember visiting a palace. We didn't go in, but we like went to the palace. Like one of the where back in like the 1800s, or maybe earlier when the kings and queens of Spain used to live. Visited some places that were historically significant to the Spanish Civil War as well. And those that passed away, rest in peace. I need a drink of my Coke Zero. So there's a possibility that sometime during this stream I will have to get lunch, which I'm perfectly fine going and getting that. And so, yeah. I visited Honolulu in 2017 as well. If you ever have a chance to visit Honolulu, Hawaii, you should. And the last night there, I went to a luau, which I also recommend doing. So, what's funny is it can be very funny. You know, the people working there. So the guy on the bus who was, okay, he made several jokes saying like, you can call me cousin, but don't ask me for money, because I won't lend it to you, which I thought was pretty funny. And then he gave us he told us jokes saying like, hey, everybody remember this number 20. Can you repeat it? So we all repeated. And then he said 20 as an amount of minutes it'll take to make it up this number to visit the luau. And then he said like 27. So we repeated the number. And he said 27. Okay, remember that, because if you miss the bus, that's how many miles you have to walk back to at least your hotel. Which I like the luau. I like that we got to learn about different cultures, especially in the Pacific Islands, because I in school you're not really taught about, the cultures of the Pacific Islands. So I love learning about them. I love to learn about geography, astronomy, and I love to learn about history as well. And I love learning about different cultures as well. So. The best way to do that is through geography and through history. So, I don't know where you're watching this from, but if you're watching this, tell me where you're from, if you're comfortable with that, and I'd love to learn about the history of your place. If you know any fun facts about the place you're watching this from, or where you're from, feel free, and you're comfortable with sharing them, let me know. So, I know in America, at least growing up, we learned about ancient Rome, and ancient Egypt, and ancient Greece, and ancient China as well. And I love learning about those places. And growing up here in the South in the U.S., we learned about, when we were going to Sunday school, we learned about, like, biblical times as well. So, because I'm a Christian, so a lot of people here are Christians. So, which is pretty interesting if you ask me. Then we learned about the Middle Ages in Europe, in school. Then we will learn about, like, colonization, but we'll only learn about it from the European aspect. And then we'll, like, learn about American history as well, following that. And then, like, the Civil War in America, from, like, the Revolutionary point to the Civil War. Then we, like, discuss briefly about World War I and II, just mainly America's involvement. And then, after World War I, we'd actually talk about the Great Depression, then World War II. And then we'd learn about, like, post-World War II till now. And I never really got to learn, like, about, like, what they discovered about South America and the Americas. They cover it a little bit, but they don't really go into as much depth as they could be in terms of in terms of what they discovered in the Americas Columbus action. Which Columbus wasn't even the first person to set foot on the Americas, because he had millions of people living there before he even arrived. First of all, that is historically incorrect. So he's not even the first European, because he had some Scandinavians set foot about 1,000 years ago as well. So he's not even the first European to set foot. So, then I'd love to learn about, like, pre-European. Of course, they don't know everything about pre-Columbian America. So, but I feel like they just, of everything they discovered about, they just really glossed over in the history books, which stinks, because I'd love to learn about the cultures. In Africa, they really don't they outside of ancient Rome and its territories and ancient Greece, they don't really talk about African history that much. Maybe with the exception of maybe a great empire or two, and then European colonization and post-European colonization, which I felt that I like to learn the history of the people there, not just during certain times. And they do the same with Australia as well. Australia and Oceania. Which, I mean, I know that there wasn't anything written down prior to the Europeans arriving, but from what archaeologists and historians have discovered, they don't really cover that much in history books here. I mean, it's important to learn about the country you live in, about the history of the country you live in, but it could have at least expanded more on history outside of the country, outside of the U.S. So actually, I love learning about history, and I love watching history videos on YouTube. So, Sometimes when I make a video that I'm not talking in, that I have my microphone off and I have game volume on, I'll listen to like videos about history of different places and different people, and I like to learn about them. Which I do believe it's important to learn about history and geography and other cultures. There are two. Uh, I'm paraphrasing the two quotes here. The two quotes are like you have to. One of them is you have to know where you come from to know where you're going. Meaning that you have to know where you're near to know where, not just you, but uh, uh, for humanity's sake, you have to learn about the past to know um, where you should go in the future. Um, from a personal standpoint, you have to learn about your past, as well as where your ancestors came from, and learn something about them, and hopefully not repeat their mistakes in your life, and pass on the good that they did, and the good you learned from them to your future generations, your kids. But from humanity, you also have to. This is actually in relation to the next quote. You actually have to um, learn about the good things humanity did. But you also have to learn about the bad things humanity did, and so you can continue to do the good and not repeat the bad things that we have done. And then there's another quote, roughly, I'm paraphrasing it, saying that those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. I actually don't remember who said that quote, if that is attributed to anyone, but it's basically saying that if we don't learn from history, we'll be making the same mistakes over and over. So. So history and geography tend to be my favorite subjects. In terms of studying maps and like the distance between two places, I'm not very good at. Like I can pretty much, for the most part, I can actually, if you're showing a blank map, and have, uh, if you tell me to like, the borders were already pre-made. If you tell me to label each country, I'm pretty sure I can actually do that for the most part. If you tell me to draw the borders, I wouldn't do that very well because I'm not very good at art, and two, oh boy, I struggle with that at times. So. I was never very good at art in school. Never very good at painting, actually. I just didn't have an artistic bone in my body. I growing up, I tried, but my paintings weren't very good. If you could see them, uh, some paintings when I made for, like when I was in 6th or 7th grade, though the paintings I made, they could easily, when I was like 12 or 13, mind you, looked like a 4-year-old did them. And I'm sure if I were to do some paintings now, or just do some drawings, they'd still look like a 3-year-old a 3-year-old or 4-year-old make them now. Because I'm just that bad. I'm not very good at writing as well. In terms of English class. I can spell pretty decently, pretty well. But my grammar, it, my grammar's awful. My grammar, especially when writing, usually tends to be terrible. Right? I know when to put periods and like question marks. In like terms of writing a story, I often struggle with like exclamation points and like commas. When to use commas, I usually struggle with commas as well. And then I'm one of those people that when I come up with an idea, I can think of it very well, but I struggle to put it from pen to paper. Meaning I have trouble writing out my ideas. So when doing essays, I usually tend to struggle. So I'll often get feedback about how to be more in depth in terms of my essay. So like when doing that for college, even having a word limit in high school lower, I would struggle to meet like a word limit. Say I had to do in college. I've had a couple of essays actually where they had to be like 750 words or 500 words or 1,000 words. I would struggle to meet that word limit just because I'm not very good at writing out my ideas. Some people are good writers. I'm not. Excuse me. Math? Oh man, math. I could be better at math, but I just tend to be too careless while doing it. There have been math classes I've taken where I do genuinely don't understand the work. And I'm pretty sure if I were to take them again, I still wouldn't. Even in high school, I still wouldn't understand the work. But there are other math classes that I've taken where admittedly, I didn't apply myself hard enough. And even when I did, I still, I didn't apply myself to get as good grades as I should have. And I didn't, even when I did, I made some just careless mistakes that in hindsight, I shouldn't have made. Sciences, I'm not very good. I'm not good at sciences either. Like, I remember I have to do. Wasn't physiology, but maybe it was. No, physics. I had a physics class in ninth grade, junior high. No matter. Admittedly, I didn't apply myself in class. I didn't really work as hard as I should have, admittedly. But then there are times in that class where I did apply myself, and I just genuinely didn't understand the work. I just did. No matter how hard I tried, I didn't just understand the work. So. I like in terms of astronomy, I like learning about other planets. Don't get me wrong. But if I were to calculate the distance from one object to another in astronomy, that'd be I wouldn't do very well. I know that because I'm not very good at math. Even when I do apply myself, I'm not very good at math, especially with such large numbers. So like, if anyone were to ask me advice for my math or help from math, my advice would be to ask someone else, just because I My advice would ask someone else because I'm not good at math. You're more likely to get the wrong answer in if you ask me than the right answer. History, I was fairly good at. So this in university, uh, you here in America, you're required to take a certain amount of classes, even if they're not related to your degree, which I think is the argument is that you're supposed to be more well-rounded, but I but no, that's just a bad argument in my opinion. I feel like you should spend your entire time if you know what you want to do. For example, uh, in university, I can understand. Then you need to spend all your time in that class, in that subject. But if you don't know what you want to do, I can understand that. So like from the university for history classes, I had two history classes. One of them, this is actually pretty bad that I didn't really try to study, but because I really should have tried to study, but it's like I took a U.S. history class. It's called U.S. History to 1875. Um, so I didn't study that much in that class, and every test I took, I got an A or a B. But in my defense, for as long as I've remembered, I've loved learning about history. So, I love learning about history, so I pretty much entered in that class a lot of the work I knew and prior to taking that class. So I didn't really have to do a lot of studying, so even though I should have, just to familiarize myself more with the work. Now I took geology classes. I mentioned this before. I took 4 geology classes. 2 of them are labs. I had to spend a lot of time studying just because I wasn't very good at it. But even after taking those classes, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure I've forgotten all of the work. So like, I would love to. Um, I loved. Don't get me wrong. I loved taking those classes and I loved the studying part. But if I hadn't studied and applied myself, I wouldn't have been very good. But surprisingly, learning about how the Earth was formed and made is pretty cool, in my opinion. It's more interesting than I thought it'd be because I thought it'd be pretty boring. And then the labs, like the first half of the labs, I for of each semester with those labs, I actually we were supposed to like identify different kinds of rocks, and there were like 3 major classifications of rocks, and I cannot tell you. Even after memorizing them, I cannot tell you the 3 types of classifications of rocks, 3 major classifications of rocks. I cannot tell you them. If you were to pick a rock and tell me and hand it. If you were to pick up a rock and say, "Hey," and tell me, "Hey, I want you to identify this rock," I couldn't tell you what rock it is. If I remember correctly, I know coal is supposed to be pretty dark. And then there's one like salt related rock that if you were to lick it, it tastes, if you were to lick it, it tastes pretty salty. So, not that I, not that I recommend going about and just picking up rocks and tasting them. And then the other half, actually for both labs, they required us to map and like figure out the distance between like point A and point B on a map. And no matter how I, no matter how much I tried, I would always get it. I would almost always get it wrong, just because one, my math isn't pretty good, and two, uh, my math isn't pretty good, I should say, and two, I struggled. I could for life for me cannot get a grasp a straw of understanding. I cannot grasp the basic understanding of how to do that. So, teaching me how to map things and the distance between point A to point B is like trying to teach. Uh, it's like trying to teach a dog physics because I would just not get it. Don't get me wrong. If I live in an area long enough, I'll figure out the directions to go from. I'll figure out how to get from point A to point B. But just looking at a map, no, I can't do that. I'm totally relying on GPS for that. Like the city I live in, I can get around. If I were to be on my own, I could definitely get around fairly well because I know the area well. Let's say like I move somewhere like New York City or some new city, I'd have to learn my way around. So I think that's just how it is for everyone, actually. Let's see. I love learning languages, but I really need to get it back into it. I've been slacking off for the past 2 weeks. I actually took a Latin class for like a year in middle school. I think it was junior high, but that I enjoyed. Took a French class 1 year. And for most of my time in school, I took Spanish classes, but I actually don't remember a lot of Spanish. A lot of Spanish. I know a couple phrases in Spanish, but that's about it. I wish I had really tried harder to learn Spanish and other subjects as well. I wasn't the most diligent student. I wasn't the most hardworking student. So, or I should have played more sports as well. I'm trying to think of stuff to talk about. Mentioned that I was never very good at art, and I think eighth grade was the last until university. In eighth grade was the last year I had to take an art class. Surprisingly, I enjoyed that class. I had a really good teacher that year. I think that's when. I think if I have someone. One thing I tend to notice about myself is that I'm more willing to learn and uh, more willing to learn and enjoy the subject more. One, if it's interesting. Two, there if I can easily, if there's like someone that knows what they're doing and makes the class enjoyable, whether it's a teacher or not, especially if there's a teacher. 'Cause I remember my last year and a half of high school, I took basically a computer class, and I enjoyed it. I loved learning about the history of the internet and doing some of the work and the tasks, and we even uh, I lost. Even we are supposed to like create a game, uh, like based off of this like the software the school had, and I enjoyed doing that. Um, I don't know whatever happened to that, but then I took a coding class in university, and I didn't really enjoy that. And the teacher I had didn't do a good job of explaining the work. So, and to be fair to that teacher, I could have done a better job of. I could have easily just when I was in class just looked. I could have done. Uh, I could have easily looked up how to do those things online, and I didn't. So that's I should have been. And then I love gym class as well. Not I'm not athletic, but I enjoyed it. Let's see. The English classes, like in high school, in middle school and elementary school, we were mainly to read. I think starting in middle school, we actually had to do like write essays on the books we read, and they test over them. Which I was, didn't enjoy reading as a child, but surprisingly, I'm sure if I were to get a good book now, I'd enjoy it. So I actually did. I just need to. I've never been like the type of person to sit down and read a book. So, which is pretty bad. I wanted to start reading more. Yeah, I'll be right back. I'm just gonna see if my lunch is ready. Excuse me. I was so hoping lunch would be ready, but it isn't. Let's see. Oh, but especially from middle school onwards, we had to write essays, and I hated doing that because I mentioned I'm not a very good writer. Let's see. What else? I took like I think it was my final year of high school. I took a psychology class. And that's one of the few science classes I actually thoroughly enjoyed doing. I I mean, it sucks that there are mental illness, but I don't mean to be offensive, but found the studying it to be interesting. So yeah, I think one year I took a statistics class, and I like that. I got like a B or a C, just because, again, I made too many careless mistakes. That's my biggest problem with math. Is like the work in math that I in high school that I did understand. I easily made too many mistakes that I shouldn't have. And yeah, I took a world history class in university that I enjoyed. The math class I took a math class actually, yeah, math class in a couple math classes. I didn't do well enough in the SATs or ACTs or whichever I took to automatically get a math class that I needed to for take for math credit. So I took to take it over the math class over like the course of 3 semesters, and then just because of the way it was set up, and then a fourth math class that finally counted for credits that I took. And again, I really struggled with that, but I liked it actually. I wasn't very good at it, but I liked it. I had some pretty cool teachers for English classes, but I again just struggled with the work. I did not enjoy it. Love the history classes. I love the Spanish classes I took as well. In university. Unless for some reason I lag out or I have to go, I should be finishing this race. So, mention I like both science classes I took. I liked just about all the mass communication classes I took. One of them was journalism based, and I already knew entering that class that I wasn't very good at writing, but I liked the more journalistic aspect of it. The more parts where I didn't have to write, like the interview. Like, I actually found that I liked interviewing and coming up with questions. But in terms of like writing the stories, no, I didn't like that. Actually, I found with the documentary techniques class that I took my next, my final spring semester, which was this time last year. I enjoyed coming up with interviews, and I enjoyed choosing the subject and coming up with questions and making the editing the video. I found one thing with the editing classes I took. I found that if I'm actually going out and filming the material, and I have a part in what material is going to be filmed, whether it's fiction or documentaries. I'll actually enjoy it more. I enjoy making the content, but if it's like pre-made and I just have to edit it together, I don't enjoy it as much in terms of editing videos. So yeah, actually, I would like to make films. Actually, there are two things I don't like about making films: the writing aspect and the fact that they work like 12 to 16 hours, 12 to 18 hours a day. In terms of some of the aspects I want to do, I would love to be like the video editor of a film, but I'd also like to work on set as well. I wouldn't like to be a. I like. I like the creative aspects, but I would have to. If I want to make films, I would have to work with someone in terms of the writing aspects. In terms of the writing aspects, that. In terms of like the financial aspect, I tend to get stressed out pretty easily in terms of work, so that would stress me out the most. It's coming up is in terms of fundraising the money. I saw that I'm not a very good actor, but I would like to act in movies. And in terms of the pre-production phase, I would actually have to find people to work with for the scripts, like me thinking, come up with the ideas. I actually have a pretty interesting idea for a movie, but I'd like to work on. So, yeah, of course, there's a lot of work for pre-production, so I would have to first think out how I want to make the film, how I want the story to be told. Then I have to come up with the script, actually. I make up the film. Then I have to come up with the script, so I need to find someone who's good at writing, script writing for that. Then I have to figure out how I'm going to make the film. How or what cameras I'm going to use. Uh, then I'm going to need to figure out where it's going to be filmed, how it's going to be filmed, when I'm going to film it. Then I need to figure out the people I'm going to work with in terms of, you know, the pre-production people I need to work with, the production people I need to work with, and the post-production people I'm going to work with as well. I have to actually figure out how I'm going to edit the film. If I want to edit it myself, or if I want to have people work with the people I want to edit it with. And then I need to figure out, film, actually making the film, and figure out the actors. So, there's a lot of work to do into the film, so I actually need to get comfortable. I think for me to get started in the film industry, I'd actually have to work with a couple of people on a couple of movies before I actually get comfortable. I'm doing it myself. I'll be right back one last time. Gotta make sure. But one idea I definitely would like to work on that's actually feasible for a movie. I want to start later today after the stream. And actually, I'm going to apply for some master's programs as well here in Arkansas. And, you know, that should be fun. So my lunch is going to be made in 5 minutes. My mom is making it for me. Thank you, Mom. It's 3:13, which it's going to be longer stream than normal. Just because I don't really have to go out anywhere today because I'm going to be running errands all day tomorrow. So I thought my door was closing. But it turns out it's actually my chair. Actually, I have at least participated and done some short films that are on my channel. Yeah. One of them was written by a classmate of mine in one of my classes. The other one is actually the idea is partially mine. I say partially mine because I didn't come up with the original idea. I got it from a video game, which is NBA 2K18 or it was NBA 2K20 actually. It was either NBA 2K20 or I believe it was NBA 2K19. It was the prelude to the criminal. Coming! Okay, hold on. I had a little bit of an egg to eat before this, a cooked egg. So, the idea I got was based off the Parade NBA 2K19, the Parade one, which is a video game. So, uh, me and some classmates changed some of the story mode, or some of the story to make it fit more realistic for us to do for that class. Let me finish eating this and then I'll resume playing. It is a jam sandwich, so. Yeah. And then last year, with a classmate, I made a documentary. Actually, we were supposed to come up with that documentary techniques class. We were supposed to make two documentaries, one or two, really. Uh, for the first documentary, we were supposed to, um, basically, we had the option of either both of us coming up with an idea for a documentary, or we could like, if the first if we both enjoyed the first idea, making the first documentary so much we could have actually expanded and make it, expand, uh, expand on it more and make a second documentary about it. Or we can just do two documentaries about two different subjects. So, my classmate and I, we actually agreed that we would each come up with an idea for a documentary, and I would actually make it. Now, my classmate was undecided until he was torn between two ideas uh, for his documentary. So I had two ideas, but I was easily it was I I was more comfortable with one idea as opposed to the other. So uh, we agreed that because he was undecided, we agreed that we were going my idea first, and that turned out to be the Fleet Feet Little Rock documentary, and which, if you want to check it out, I'm actually gonna link it right now. Okay, I'm moving the mouse and it's not moving at all. Dang it, my mic isn't on. I linked the documentary. I was talking about like how. Sorry about that. How for my documentary class, my we had the option of making two documentaries, either over two different subjects or over the same subject if we enjoyed making the first subject so much, or if we enjoyed making the first documentary so much. My friend and I, my classmate and I, agreed that we'd each choose a subject. We'd each choose a documentary subject and make a documentary over that. And my friend was undecided with what he wanted to do, my classmate. And I knew what I wanted to do, pretty much, because there was one idea that I had that was more feasible than the other, so. So, my classmate and I agreed to do mine first, and then, which I linked to that just now, so you can watch that live stream after. Not live stream. You can watch that documentary after. It's 5 minutes and 25 seconds long. So, essentially, we agreed to do mine first because my classmate wasn't sure what he wanted to do. And fortunately, we were able to complete my documentary. But unfortunately, quite literally the class after, it was quite literally around the time we were supposed to start making our second documentary. Unfortunately, the pandemic hit, the COVID-19 pandemic, and we were forced to go into lockdown, and we weren't able to make our second documentary, which, had I gotten my classmates' permission, I would have actually definitely shared it. Here on YouTube. So I made sure it was okay with him, my classmate, to actually upload the documentary to YouTube. Since, even though it was my idea, he did work on it, and I did give him credit. He did edit it, and he did give himself credit in the video. So I wanted to make sure it was okay with him if I uploaded the video, which it was okay with him. So, yeah, I was able to upload it last. It's over. It was actually uploaded February 25th or February 26th, 2020. So that was quite literally a week or two before we were forced to go into lockdown. And we couldn't go to class anymore, which means we couldn't really do the documentary anymore. So unfortunately, we never got to do his documentary. And actually, when this pandemic is over, if he's still interested in doing the idea, I would like to reach out to him and make that documentary. If he's interested in doing it and both our schedules actually align to where we can. So, and if he's comfortable with it, I'd like to share it on my YouTube channel. So, I'd like to actually, when I travel again, I've done this of like mainly taking pictures. When I travel, I'd actually like to make some like short travel documentaries about the places I visit. and where I go. And just like my traveling to those places, and then coming back home, and then just editing it into a video. We're already on the 14th lap, but it feels like it could have gone faster if I didn't pause it so much. Well, I'm out of Coke Zero, so now it's time to drink this. Yes. Actually, I got the first dose of the Pfizer vaccine on the 13th of March. So I'm able to get this. I'm eligible to get the second dose this Saturday, which I plan on getting for the vaccine for COVID. So I'm hoping to get it this Saturday. I'll see if I'll be able to or not. I should be able to. After the second dose, it should be about 2 weeks till I for the immunity, whatever, to kick in. So I'm realistically looking at least April 17th is the earliest I can go out without actually having to worry about getting sick. Still gonna take the extra precautions though, because it's better to be safe than sorry when it comes to a virus, especially like a pandemic. Especially when we're in a pandemic, so. Even though I'm vaccinated, I'm still not gonna. I don't want to spread the disease, and I don't want to get anyone else infected, and I don't want to get sick myself. Though if I have the vaccine, I shouldn't get sick. I will actually have to use the restroom soon. Though. It's only because I don't have to go anywhere today that. Yeah, it's only because I don't have to go anywhere that I actually don't have. I can stream for long past 3. I usually like to stream from 1 to 3 for about 2 hours, or 2 to 3. If I've to run errands that day, or if I have to go out. So, an hour to 2. So I plan on walking around a neighborhood later today. Around the evening time. So we are essentially 8/15ths of the way done. Percentage-wise, I don't know what that is in terms of percentage. Or once we complete this lap. I know it's over 50%. Been streaming for almost 2.5 hours now. It's pretty cool. you ask me, though. Alright, definitely check out, click the link in the, click the website links Nightbot provided earlier in the stream. To see when if that'll take you to my website. That should tell you when I'm streaming. Uh, I update it every Monday. I usually will update the either video game or time during the week. If I feel more comfortable playing another game or something comes up where I have to stream at a different time. And yeah, I'm gonna use the restroom now. So sorry about that. So I'm back, y'all. Sorry about that. Boom. Let's resume. Let me make sure my mic is on really quick. I don't want to repeat a lot. Okay, it's on. Okay, so that's good. Sorry again. Let's resume. So yeah. Totally forgot what I was talking about. Completely don't remember. I lost my train of thought because I thought about something else while I was playing. Thought about rap battles. Don't know why. Maybe it's because I like watching them. But I just thought about them. I was talking about I'm pretty sure I was talking about documentaries. Oh well. Still don't know what to talk about. So, Major League Baseball is starting soon. I mentioned that. Starting Thursday in 3 days. April 1st, actually. April Fool's Day. Should be exciting to see the season play out. I wonder who's going to win. Y'all already know who I want to win. The NBA has been exciting. I wouldn't mind seeing Philadelphia win, actually, this year. And if they don't win, I hope a team that hasn't won it before will win. In hockey, I hope a team that doesn't win. I hope a team that hasn't won a Stanley Cup will win. Starting next season, my new favorite team is going to be the Seattle Kraken. It's because they're an expansion team, and I feel like it's a fresh start to root for a new team in the league. Even though historically they're based off how expansion teams usually play, they're going to be pretty awful. I think the sole exception to that expansion teams that have done well is like Vegas, the Vegas Golden Knights. They made the Stanley Cup playoffs in their first season ever. And that's quite impressive because usually for a while an expansion team will be pretty terrible. It'll take several seasons just for them to get to the playoffs and several seasons after that to be title contenders. So, the fact that Vegas is already a title contender for the Stanley Cup, in literally their first season is quite impressive. You okay, Mom? You need any help? Do you need any help, Mom? Yeah. My mom, so I just wanted to make sure she was okay if she needed any help. It's going to be quite interesting to see how Seattle will do. If there's ever an expansion in the NFL, NBA, maybe not NBA so much, but the NFL and Major League Baseball, yeah, I definitely root for the no expansion team. The reason I say the NBA not so much, I know two people that are actually can play in the NBA. I mentioned them, Ray John Tucker and Dusty Hannah. So I usually, when I say I know, I mean, when I say I know, what I mean is I've actually met these people at some point, and I've had classes with them. Like I met Joe Johnson in an airport once, which is pretty cool. I'm actually going to Spain back in 2019. I don't think he's going to be playing anymore. He might, I'm not sure. But the other two, Dusty Hanners and Ray John Tucker, whatever the team they're on, I'll be rooting for them into their careers. So, yeah. And but once their career ends and I don't know any other players, or I haven't met any other players, I guess I'll just root for the newest expansion team. For Major League Soccer, I chose the Columbus Crew SC because I wanted to watch some soccer with my mom, and she agreed, and she chose the Columbus Crew SC, so that's why I chose it. Even though there are going to be some expansion teams coming, so. There are some other teams that I like to watch in Major League Soccer, but the Columbus Crew SC will be my favorite team. I have a Trinidadian player on it, so it's probably the biggest reason. My mom's from Trinidad and Tobago, so. Yeah, I'm gonna hop off after this race. Well, maybe not right after this race. I don't know if y'all can hear that and how good the volume is. If y'all can hear the vacuum. But what I think is I'm gonna let y'all listen to game volume for the rest of the stream.